Alright, hello people. I'm making a quick recipe tutorial, I guess. Because I have a friend who is going to move soon to his own, so I need to teach him how to cook. So today we're going to learn how to cook on a budget when we are poor and without human dignity. So this is a really simple recipe. So first we're going to need some quark. I have some normal budgets thing, and then I have some spam thing. I use the Austrian ones because they have slightly more meat in them than Slovene ones. So that's the primary two components you're gonna need. So spam and quark. Then what you're gonna need next is just a bit of water, just to be sure. That's not required, but we may need it. And then you're going to need a bit of flour, just normal baking flour in this case. Then you can you can add a lot of things to this recipe. So I have some oregano and some cheap Indian kind of spice kind of thing right here. But you can add I think you could add eggs, other stuff. It's a really simple recipe, to be honest. Alright, so let's get started. So first you're also going to need pan like this. This is a wok style pan, really useful thing. That's one of the few things you really need to invest in. It's a good pan, good wok like pan, because this baby will save your life. And then just some cheap budget oil I use for frying, because this is a fried recipe. This is how to make spam Quark patties. Let's put it that way. So what you're gonna need to do first is actually to take a slightly smaller pan. I'll just grab that. Put it on here and on full fire, as you can see. And what you're gonna need to do is put some oil in it. Jesus Christ! Here, go. Not really. You don't need to put much of it, just a bit. Now while this oil is slowly getting its temperature up, we open the spam thing. Sexy. This is, yeah, alright, sexy spam, as you can see. Use a spoon or something to get it out. Really depends on how much you want to eat. I'll take half of this thing right here. Sounds about good. And then what you want to do is to hash it a bit into smaller pieces, because it's going to be easier to quickly fry or something. Do this with a spoon or something, it doesn't matter really. Because it's not really difficult to cut. You don't need a serious knife or anything. I may do a video on a proper upkeep of knives and other kind of stuff. Yeah, looks pretty good to me. Now I can smell the oil is starting to heat. What a good. Alright. This should do. The spam looks nice. Alright, so what you want to do next, is take your spam and put it into the oil. Now give me a sec. Voila, and this is extremely quick. You just do this for a few moments. This is already enough. Put it out, take it out. Then take a bowl or something like this, and you just transfer the spam without the oil. You can put the oil if you're a real fat ass, so use this kind of spatula, and put the spam from the pan into the bowl. This step is pretty important because if we don't do it, the spam in the final patty that we're going to make is going to taste like shit, like it hasn't been really, because these patties, they go very quickly, to be honest. Alright, so now we put this pan away somewhere, going to disturb us. Yeah. Right. So now, as you can see, I have slightly fried, I guess, spam here. And now that's the first step. Now we open the quark. Really, this recipe is good because it's really a budget recipe. You can do it even if you're extremely low on funds, because spam is, well, almost free. And just check in your local store. They usually have like rabat, so sales on Quark when it's just before it goes out. You know, I need to eat this in like 3 days. But like, yeah, I mean, it's Quark, it's good. It's like, it's good for you. Why wouldn't you eat it in like quickly? All right, so now you add some of this Quark in it. Voila, approximately 1:1 to the, I mean, a bit more. Let's say 2:1. I mean, it needs to be a bit more Quark than there is spam. So like this. Now, important part, you need to add some flour, but not a lot, like a small amount of flour, just so it sticks together, you know. So be really careful here. I usually just add like, you know, this much, not really. Like, of course, you scale for how much patties you're gonna make, but you know, it's the flour is not really here for the taste. It's just so the whole thing sticks together. All right, so now I have this, and now we start mashing this like, you know, into a really gross patty-like substance. It smells pretty good though. Like fried spam isn't that bad as far as ways to make spam go. So in case you put in too much flour, which can happen, either add more Quark or add a little bit of water. Both work. Though I wouldn't really recommend adding water unless you really fucked up. So now I can, if it's not sticking together well enough, then just add more flour. Really, it's that simple. And you know, experiment a bit until you have the good proportion of until you get like a sticky substance that you can like then turn into little patties later on. So I think I'm getting a pretty good substance here. You can see like it stays in my hand. I mean, not totally, but that's good enough. I could add a bit more flour to make it even more consistent, but then the taste of the flour might, you know, get a bit in the way, and in that case you might need to, if you like, just don't use too much flour. Although I am going to just a droplet more. Voila. Just, you know, as I'm going to repeat this like all over this, but the flour is just here, perfect. It's just here so that the whole recipe sticks together. It's not really an important component. See here, perfect. It completely sticks together now. All right. Now we go to the next step. We take our trusty wok. Yeah, alright, I'm filming. Alright, so we take our trusty wok, we put in the fire, voila, full speed ahead. We take our cheap frying oil. Like really, I recommend olive oil if you're concerned for your health, but you know, this is cooking on a budget. So I'm really using the only budget things. Alright, so add like, it needs to be like full. Like depends on how, you know, concerned you are with your weight and so on and your health. I like to add like a bit so, you know, the patty will properly fry. So now we're going to wait till this thing starts. So as you can see, this is how it looks like before you fry the patty. It should be able to at least somewhat stick together. Like it's going to go into the frying pan anyway, so yeah, but you know, if it's just like destroying itself in your hands, if it's falling apart, then it's not good. Now this part may be a bit difficult to film, but I will find a way somehow. I didn't plan this far. All right, let's see. How does this look? All right, good enough. This will work. This will work. All right, perfect. Oh, we're over 10-minute mark. Huh. YouTube will love this. All right, it's a really simple recipe. I don't know what's taking 10 minutes. All right, so this is pretty well heated. Now we're going to need these two things, this and this. I don't know how you call them in English. Who cares really? And now you are going to take this your thing and make, like, I think I have about enough to make 2 patties out of this. So you take it in your hands, you make a little, patty-like thing, or you can make. I could probably this oil isn't really good enough yet, but make like a bit smaller patties, because it cooks better if you make if your patties are too big, then it's not going to cook all the way through, and it's just going to like taste a little bit shitty in the middle. I can see that the oil is getting properly heated. So right, so let's put our patties in. This is patty number 1. They need to be pretty flat, by the way. Flatten them a bit. Yeah, don't be too scared of like hot oil. Like if you handle everything properly, you shouldn't get like horrible scars on your hand. Voila. Here we can have. As you can see, the patties are brumbling away. Oh, by the way, put in some ventilation on so your whole apartment doesn't smell of Quark-SPAM. It may be a little difficult to hear me, but like at this point, it's going to be really simple. Right, so the patties are in the thing. Now use this and this to like make sure they don't stick too much. Like they're cooking in oil, so it shouldn't be really a problem. They might be a bit too crumbly. Like I might not have added enough flour. Like I kind of fear using too much flour because then the taste goes away. But if you don't use enough flour, like in this case, in this patty particularly, it doesn't stick together and it's going to just look like shit. So now you leave it for what, about I'd say about a minute is way more than enough. So really depends on how you like them, if you like them crispy or not. Be sure to check on them. This one's pretty good. This one looks pretty well. What about this one? Voila. Make sure they don't stick to the bottom, because that shit is, I mean, it's not difficult to clean really in this day and age, but it won't taste good. By the way, I use Teflon covered things. It just makes things way more easier. Like, I mean, it's the 21st century, so everything is Teflon anyway. I don't know what shitco is going to watch this. Alright. Let's try to turn this one. Yeah. Alright, as you can see, it gets like a little bit of a golden-like crust. You can call it golden-like. Oh yeah, this one definitely didn't have enough flour in it. I'm not reshooting the whole thing though, I'm lazy. Plus I'm not gonna eat that much really. This is enough for like 2 people, I guess. Voila! I think about like turn them once over and then once again for like just a small amount of time, just so they get firm on both sides, and then you can take it out. Like have a bowl thing prepared with some you know, covering so all of the oil doesn't go directly into your plate. Yeah, in the meanwhile you can already start cleaning a bit, so it doesn't take a lot of time. This is a really simple recipe, so there isn't much to clean up after. So you probably have some Spam left. This thing lasts about 4 days in your fridge if you just leave it there. So find a way to use the Spam in the next 4 days. I have a few recipes with Spam I might share on this channel. I started using Spam to cut back costs, but I actually ended up liking it. You know, funny shit. Alright. So these, yeah. These patties are doing okay. They even smell pretty nice, which is, you know, let's say unusual when you're making Quark-SPAM patties. They usually smell like that. Oh fuck. I forgot to put the spices in. I'm stupid. But like in the final stage, when you're adding flour, you know, add some spices to it. It really livens the thing up. Adds a bit to this very poor, nutritious. I mean, not nutritious, but you know, the flavor is really shitty. All right, this thing is getting, you know. They're getting almost overcooked, so at this point they're ready. You know, it's not ready, it's almost overcooked. That's how I call it. Oh, shitty joke. Anyway, voila. All right. Now put the thing on, and if it's you know, like I know Louis probably doesn't cook much, so this is hot oil. So just leave it somewhere until it, you know, stops being hot. If you put this underwater, you're in for a bad surprise. All right, so now we have our little patties. 17 minutes for shitty patties. Oh wow. All right. So wait. Give me a second. All right. So I won't do the whole, you know, it's so good, I really can't wait to eat them, because, you know, this is patties made from Spam and Quark. It's for when you're, it's a good hungover food though, I will admit that. So this is how they look like in the end result. This one might have been a little bit too much cooked, but you know, they look pretty decent. There wasn't too much flour, so it doesn't look floury at all. I'm pretty okay with that. Like you can leave them a little bit more if you enjoy, you know, your things a little bit more crusty. But I think it looks pretty good. So how do you eat those? Well, I usually just take some bread, maybe with a little bit of butter if you're degenerate. Like find your, oh yeah, sunny side up eggs go well with this. Alright, so this has been it. These were the patties, the Quark-SPAM patties, which I am really proud of. It's a homemade recipe. So if you like shitty cooking on a budget, how should I call this series? Existing on a very tight budget. Let's call it that way. I'll make more videos probably with some more, you know, edible, acceptable food you can even invite your friends to, like you know, no, and I might do some introductory things for people who haven't cooked before, like Louis, on how to take care of knives, etc., etc. But yeah, this has been like, oh, it's first Saturday of the month. They're testing the air raid sirens again. Oh well. Pretty neat, huh? Living in a third world country. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed. Like, don't subscribe because I never put out videos, let's put it that way. Share on Facebook, etc. Who cares? Anyway, yeah, this has been me, and enjoy your patties.